Now we are going to perform the delete operation. So I'll just again copy this part, and this is the delete operation, right? So delete. So again, how you would be deleting any to do with the ID of that to do. Okay, so I would just say I want to delete a to do. So delete to do, and the method for this is actually delete method. So actually guys, you can name anything here, it's not mandatory. You can just name anything to this API. I'm just passing some memorable names, okay, so that I can identify things very easily. Okay, so now you can see that again I'm taking request response, but this time I want to delete something. So for that we actually have find by ID and remove. Okay, so now guys, instead of this, I just provide the ID and the method name is find by ID and remove. Okay, that's it. So find by ID and remove, that's what you want to do. You just want to get the ID from the URL and you want to remove that specific object. So once you remove that, you actually don't need to store this. You just need to say to do deleted successfully. Okay, to do deleted successfully, that's it. So once you delete this, you can actually check your database. So first of all guys, now let's try to run this. Okay, so now I want to perform a delete operation. So again, this is the delete method and the name of this is actually delete to do. So delete to do, right? And here you can see I want to delete the specific ID. In this case you won't be needing any body and you also don't need any headers, so you can actually remove this, or else if you keep this then that's also fine. This would be ignored because you're just deleting this specific object with this ID. So if I click on send, the problem here is the app has actually crashed. Why? Because find by ID and remove is actually not a function. Okay, I actually did a mistake. If you want to delete this, what you would do is find by ID and delete. Okay, so if you write it this way, then it would work properly because remove method was actually removed. That means that was removed and now it is actually delete. Okay, so now let's try to use this again. Hopefully this works this time. Okay, so if I click on send, so you can see to do deleted successfully, and the reason for this was actually you need to just write this method. Okay, so instead of find by ID and remove, you actually use find by ID and delete here. The find by ID and remove was replaced with this in the recent versions of MongoDB, that's why. Okay, so you can see that this is working fine. Now let's check our database again. Here guys, if I just refresh right now, you can see you have two objects. If I just refresh, and here itself you can see I only have one object. Okay, so that's how you can actually provide the delete operation. You can use the delete operation to perform any task. Okay guys, so these were some things which I wanted to tell you in this video. So what did we do is we have simply performed some operations. First operation was the create operation, which simply allowed us to add data to our database. So this was the create operation. We simply added a title and description, and if you don't provide the description, let's see what actually happens here. Okay, so when I try to create an object, for that what do we have is add to do. Okay, the name is actually add to do, and this was a post method. So what to do you want to add, right? What to do you want to add? So you just want to say that I would just add a to do which is having text like have dinner. Okay, and it is not having any description. Let's see what issue do I get. Okay, actually first of all, if I don't provide anything, in headers, I simply pass application JSON and I want to create a to do like this. So first of all I get an issue here. You can see to do validation failed. Okay, so guys, you can see that my application has crashed directly. Why is it happening? Because we haven't handled the error properly. Okay, so we didn't handle the error properly, that's why it's showing me this kind of issue. Okay, so to actually fix this, what we can actually do is we can use try catch. Okay, so you can actually use try catch everywhere, but for now I'm just going to say try here. Okay, I'm just going to say try, and once you write try here, you'll just paste it here. You'll just paste this here, and if there is any error, what you will do is you just pass your error here, right? So your application won't crash, you just get your error here. Okay, so now let's try to click on send. So you can see there is no response, but your error is shown. That means your application didn't crash. So what you can do is you can simply send a response also. So you can just say res.json, and you can just show your error also. You can show a status code also, unable to add to do. Okay, so you can also add a status code also, like you can just say by default status code would be 200, but in this case suppose this is what this is some suppose user side issue, so you can actually make it as 40 or 401, whatever you want. You can add a status code accordingly, because this is not a server issue, this is the user side issue. Okay, so unable to add to do. Now if I click on send, you can see unable to add to do because I haven't provided the body. Okay, so now if I just provide the body, okay, so actually you can do one thing here itself, you can return the error also. Okay, so once you are talking about the error, you're just going to say error, whatever error would be here, you would just provide that error dot message. Okay, so you're just returning the error message. If I click on this again, so you can see to do validation failed, path title is required. Okay, so it again told me what's the exact issue to the front end user. So the front end user would be simply providing the title would be what. So again you can provide your title, but before that you can see here we have a red line. Why? Because we have to write titles in this. Okay, now we are just going to say title is like have some water. Okay, this is suppose my to do. Now if I don't provide description, let's see what happens. So you can see it added successfully, but it does not have any description. Okay, so if description is not mandatory, so you don't need to provide the description, but title was mandatory. It was required as true into our schema. If you visit the schema, you can see title was required. Rest, this was default as false, this was not required, and this is auto generated. So you can see only title was required, that is required true parameter is here, that means it is required. Okay, so that's why I pass required true here, and that's how you can actually use it in MongoDB. Okay guys, so I hope you understood this very basic CRUD operation in MongoDB. You can set up it like this. You can just create a very basic thing. One more important thing is when you are talking about MongoDB Atlas, here you can actually check out the network access. Here you can see that I got my IP address, but instead of this some other IP address can also be passed. You can add multiple IP address, or I can actually say allow access from anywhere, because in some cases when you restart your computer laptop, your IP address might change due to some changes. Okay, because in my cases it happens a lot times, so I can simply say allow access from anywhere, so that it is right now allowing me to access this database from anywhere. That means any laptop who has the API key can access this. This is very less secure, but for just normal projects you can actually do this. You can just do this if you are just testing and you know that you're just creating a very simple project. In those cases you can say allow access from anywhere, else it's not recommended for real life projects. Like you won't be allowing it from being used anywhere, right? You just want a single backend to use your API, and that backend might be having some IP address. You want that IP address to use your database. Okay, so it's not recommended definitely, but for our web development projects, when we are just testing things, when we are just building things, obviously you don't need anything very much secure. You're just building a thing. Okay, so for that you just say that yeah, I can access it from anywhere, so this is totally fine. Okay, so that's what all about which I wanted to tell you. This was basic CRUD operation. Now what you can do is later on we are going to create front end also in React.js in the upcoming videos. So what we'll do is we'll mix both of these. Okay, so please watch this video again if you didn't understand. And again, I would just show you the source code also. So I'll just upload the source code into GitHub. So for that I can simply say here itself, I'll just upload the source code into the GitHub so that you'll get the source code. I would simply say here git add dot. Okay, so I have uploaded everything. Okay, but make sure you don't upload the env file. Right now I've uploaded everything, but for ignoring the env file, you can actually add the env file into git ignore anywhere you like, or you can simply delete that also. That's totally fine when you are sharing this with someone. Okay, so that's totally up to you, but right now I'm providing all the directories, all the projects, each of them might contain some env file, so I can't hide each of them. Okay, so just for you all, I'm just keeping the env file also, but when you are sharing this project to someone, never share the env file. Just clear the data or do something, just never share the env file or its values. Okay, so these values are very important, right? That's it for today. I will see you in the next one. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.